Uh-oh, looks like YouTube's under federal investigation because they can't deal with the constant and growing problem of kids on their platform and how they deal with the fact that kids are on their platform.
A big oopsie.
Yeah, this news of the existence of this federal investigation was recently brought to light, but it's apparently been active since 2015, well before all of the high-profile cases of YouTube failing to protect children in the wake of scandals like Violent Peppa Pig, Daddy05, ElsaGate, and more.
And the problem continues to grow because, as we all know, people continue to have kids despite the fact that the world is burning.
You were warned.
Yeah. Actually, at this point, it's like, who cares what the kids watch? They're all gonna perish in the...
Let the kids have fun.
In all of the natural disasters that are caused by all of our doing. Now, according to a recent report from the Washington Post, quote, the U.S. government is in the late stages of an investigation into YouTube for its handling of children's videos, according to 4 people familiar with the matter. A probe that threatens the company with a potential fine and already has prompted the tech giant to reevaluate some of its business practices. The article continues saying that, quote, this investigation was launched after numerous complaints from consumer groups and privacy advocates. The complaints contended that YouTube, which is owned by Google, failed to protect kids who used the streaming video service and improperly collected their data, which we've spoken about recently is a big no-no because of COPPA, which is the act that was enabled in the mid-90s or late 90s to protect kids online. Seems to be that YouTube just didn't care.
So it looks like this whole thing touches on a wide variety of problems on the platform that range from videos targeted at minors that are essentially advertisements. Those videos could range anywhere from toy unboxing videos to vloggers like Jake Paul, who base entire videos around selling merch to kids. Additionally, this also includes videos meant to corrupt children's still developing innocent young minds, like all that weird ElsaGate stuff, as well as the fact that it's pretty damn easy for kids to figure out how to switch off the YouTube Kids app and just dive right into regular YouTube, where, some content that's still geared towards kids but isn't featured in the separate kids section lives.
It's like when we were kids and you'd go down to the bottom of the dial on the cable box. That's where all the good stuff was.
If you squint hard enough.
Why would my child go off the Disney Channel?
Yeah.
I clearly put him on that. It's weird how he works an iPad at this point in time.
Yeah, it's weird how entire generations who grow up doing these things don't remember that when they have their own kids.
Yeah. Anyways, by being able to go to a different app or by parents showing kids content that isn't exclusively on the YouTube Kids app, it also exposes them to essentially anything else that's on the platform, since there's essentially no filter that can be properly utilized and monitored that would dissuade them from falling down any number of algorithmic rabbit holes, which could then lead them to finding some pretty disturbing content that's obviously not meant for kids.
Mommy, I want to see the new Ben Shapiro Destroys SJWs compilation.
Mom, have you seen this Bud Dwyer video?
Oh my God. Is that on YouTube?
Yes.
Really?
So what is YouTube going to do about all this, and what's the result going to be for anyone else on the platform? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, YouTube has had internal discussions about just moving all children's content off of the main service and strictly into the YouTube Kids app, which sounds like a good idea, face value. But at this point, can anyone really trust an algorithm to correctly identify what is or isn't acceptable for that app?
No. The answer is no.
And if they accidentally misidentified something, cleared it for the separate app, and then the video turned out to be something that's clearly not meant for kids, they would, you assume, be in even worse trouble because, as we've said before, we all have to assume that a lot of parents just see YouTube Kids and assume that it's safe.
YouTube Kids. Clearly, this is a curated, heavily monitored, somehow free app for my child that I spend no money on, and yet all of this work is provided to me.
Here you go. Here's your iPad.
Now, on the other side of the coin is the constantly looming question of inadvertent censorship here on this platform. If you have a video that's been watched by children through no fault of your own other than hosting it on this site, could your video be taken down because of it?
Yeah.
There's already a button you can click when you upload a video that signals that the video contains children, but we have to wonder if at some point YouTube will focus more heavily on age-restricting videos, and then, how aggressively they'll do that, and also what penalties there will be for channels that the algorithm decides are not as safe as they claim to be.
Yeah.
Currently, users have the ability to age-restrict videos, which only allows people 18 and over to view them because the videos contain stuff like violence, sexual content, and illegal activities. You do that by clicking a little box.
Yeah.
By doing that, though, you also give up the ability to monetize that video.
Yeah,
so
mainly,
hasn't really caught on much.
Yeah, exactly. And the main thing this is for is, you know, if a music video contains nudity, but it's art, and it's basically just promotion for the artist. They don't want to or make money off of it and just want the exposure, or it's a movie trailer that features ultra-violent stuff, like a horror movie trailer. They understand that they're not going to get monetized correctly, but they need to get it out there for marketing.
There needs to be a teen-friendly button. This video is totally okay for teens.
Sup, fellow teens?
Now, the worry, of course, would be that YouTube is either going to like broaden that restriction by including stuff like just controversial topics or foul fucking language, or by instituting different age ranges similar to TV ratings, which would force advertisers to choose where their ads appear. Historically, they're going to just simply ignore anyone's channel that isn't in line with something that you'd see on Disney Channel or Nickelodeon.
Yeah, why take the risk if you're an advertiser?
Exactly.
Now, the news about YouTube being under federal investigation over the safety of children will also almost certainly reignite the constantly looming fear that advertisers are just gonna outright pull all of their company's ads off the platform until YouTube gets their shit together once again, at least from a PR standpoint.
Did they ever get it together in the first place?
No,
I feel like YouTube's like, they got this big old burlap sack, all their shit's everywhere, and they're throwing it in the sack, but there's a bunch of holes in the other end of it, and it's just falling out, and they're like, why is this room just as messy as it was when I started cleaning this 4 fucking years ago?
Well, it does suck because, well, as we were saying before, advertisers, for their own PR purposes, they pull all their ads for like a month, and then when everyone stops caring, they go back until the next scandal.
Unless your company's MyPillow. Then you stand bravely where other companies have cowered away in fear.
Well, everyone knows he's on the level because he wears the cross.
He does. That's God. There's a little bit of Jesus in every pillow.
Now, while nothing is set in stone yet, just the fact that the biggest platform for creators has put themselves in the crosshairs once again is disheartening. And once again, rather than admit the problem from the beginning and be as open as possible about how they're fixing it, they've left everyone, parents, creators, advertisers, just mostly in the dark regarding their plans to adapt and innovate the platform in a way that would stop these things from happening. Feels like they just put blinders on and carry on, full speed into the unknown without worrying about the future while they suck up every bit of money and talent before they are just forced to do something.
It's a good strategy if you're a horse.
Yeah.
But otherwise, not really.
And it also brings into light your bag theory, where they just are constantly shitting in a bag, but once it gets too full, just pours onto the city streets.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up with that? Why are horses allowed to shit in public and I'm not?
Sad. Anyways, this strategy, the whole putting blinders on and just going for it and making all the money, it makes sense because that's literally how almost every tech company operates. They're doing the same thing as everyone else. Look at Facebook. But it does look like the result of this investigation, it's just going to end up with a court settlement, including a fine that they'll have to pay, which honestly, just going to be a simple drop in the bucket compared to what this tech giant pulls in every year. As we all know by now, if it doesn't severely hurt their bottom line, it's likely that nothing significant will change. Our future's in jeopardy!
Over in other content platform news, a new subgenre seems to be picking up steam over on Twitch, and it's based on their just chatting category. Simply because Twitch has done away with the whole IRL streaming thing.
A good PR move.
Really? When did they do that?
Well, now they have different categories, like just chatting, or cooking, or...
I see. Smart.
But this one's not just chatting.
Yes, as you will see. In the past, we've seen certain types of content come and go, from seemingly innocuous stuff like a garbage man who live streamed his daily route, very wholesome, to a police officer in the Midwest who live streamed his cruiser while chatting along with his fans while on duty. Not so cool. The newest weird trend to pop up in this section is being spearheaded by a user named Steven IRL, who has become increasingly popular on the site and has amassed around 80,000 followers with various IRL streams that include simple things like cooking, playing guitar, trips to the gun range. But where he really shines are the live streams of him going fucking bounty hunting.
Who's going bounty hunting?
We're going bounty hunting.
We're sure you're all probably aware of what bounty hunting is, or you've at least
seen... It's what Boba Fett does.
Yeah, true. Or you've seen Star Wars or Dog the Bounty Hunter. So you have some idea. But essentially, bounty hunter is typically someone who goes after people who have skipped out on their court date after having their bail paid by a bail bondsman who would now be on the hook for payment. Steven IRL appears to be the most popular bounty hunter on the platform and has numerous videos that show him not only searching for fugitives in his car, but also features live-streamed body cam footage of captures, breaking down people's doors, entering people's homes, and hearing gunfire.
What could go wrong? Yeah, this is so far completely legal to stream on Twitch, according to a recent report in the Daily Dot, who said that the, quote, subcategory of live streaming violates none of Twitch's terms of service or community guidelines, end quote. And since the streamer works for himself, he obviously won't run into the same issues that other streamers have had while filming in their jobs, because in those cases, their bosses could demand them to stop at any time.
And that has happened.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? This has, however, seemingly been flying under the radar, and Twitch is usually only prone to react when things start gaining coverage, which this has in recent weeks. So if you want to go watch a man bounty hunt live on the internet and maybe, slight chance, get himself killed live on camera, better get on it now before the narcs ruin it all for everyone. And to be fair, this is already a huge genre in the world of television, with stuff ranging from the previously mentioned Dog the Bounty Hunter, and then there's Cops. Both of those are or were filmed and then edited down for later. But this also aligns with the recent successes of shows like the absolutely terrible Live PD, which, despite running on a delay, has found its own controversy by showing certain aspects of police activity that might be too intense for some viewers, including injured children and clearly identifiable dead bodies. It's also just a show where cops harass poor people for hours and hours for your entertainment.
Yes. With no censorship of their faces or names or anything.
Yeah. Sorry, we cut all the budgets for, I don't know, like every local rehab program in this area. So instead of that, we're gonna send cops with a camera crew down to where you live once a week for the rest of your fucking life to film you so that people can watch it on TV and laugh. How's that work?
And the executive producer, one of the kids from Stranger Things.
That poor guy.
There was a great tweet, I think it was Hard Drive today, tweeted Millie Bobby Brown's new show where she goes around
slashing tires.
Yeah.
It's good. But yeah, it's anyone's guess as to when the bounty hunter streams could step into questionable legal gray areas based on Twitch's TOS. After all, it's a dangerous job where anything could happen.
Yeah.
But that's obviously a large part of the appeal for the viewers watching it. You would think there'd be some like legal protections too for the people being recorded by this person, the people caught in his streams.
Depends on your local city ordinances, I would imagine. But apparently this is completely fine. I have a great bounty hunter story. I worked at Annie Ann's Pretzels when I was like 15 or 16 or something like that.
Delicious.
And my manager was a fugitive, apparently, living under a fake name. And he was stealing money from Annie Ann's.
Yeah.
And every like week, someone would get fired for stealing money from the register. And I finally got fired for stealing money. And my words to Spaghetti Monster God up there, never fucking stole any money from it. And everyone thought it was really weird. And then I got a job at the coffee shop across the place. 2 weeks later, fucking dude gets tackled over the counter, like he's running, and he gets tackled over the counter of Cinnabon by a bunch of bounty hunters.
You'll love to see it.
Yeah, it was good justice for a kid.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Anyways, over on Twitter, everyone's favorite shitposter Elon Musk recently slipped into fuck Jerry or fat Jewish territory when he tweeted out some art of a character named 2B from Nier Automata. 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 There we go. The fan art was created by an artist who goes by the name Melly Mello, but in Musk's post, the only thing that accompanied the art was the text 2B. People were justifiably upset that Elon had broken one of the unspoken rules of posting images on Twitter, a rule that has grown in popularity since the rise of joke and art thieves started making careers off of stealing other people's work, making it appear as their own, and potentially profiting off of that. If you're gonna post something, at the very least, credit the person responsible for it so they can find new followers potentially and grow.
Especially if you, the person posting it, have millions of followers.
Yes.
Obviously, Elon didn't create this art. Otherwise, his feed would be filled with his anime doodles and hand-drawn memes.
You couldn't stop him if he was an artist.
Thank God that is not the case. So people simply replied to him and asked him to please credit the artist. A simple request that could have easily solved a simple problem and potentially made the original artist extremely happy, since a tweet from Elon Musk would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, everyone comes out looking great.
Yeah. But no, he couldn't be bothered to even do that, nor could he just ignore the many requests that kept coming in to please provide credit. Instead, he decided that the best solution would be to reply to the request with no. When a different user replied to his response of no with Elon please, he replied again saying, nobody will ever find out who it was, which is pretty heartless, to be honest. I mean, he's trolling clearly, but it's like,
yeah.
I feel like this guy forgets who he is sometimes.
What do you get the man that has everything? A Twitter account to shitpost on.
Like 13-year-olds on social media act a certain way. Fucking 50-year-olds who run billion-dollar companies, they act a certain other way, and there's reasons why there's two different things there. But yeah, that wasn't all, though. When people called him out for all of this and mocked him by saying, I can't stand when people ask me to do the bare minimum to be a decent human being, he replied, quote, exactly, the constant credit crowd are damaging the
He spelled it this way.
aesthetics of the internet.
I don't know if he means like aesthetic, I guess?
That's probably what he means.
Yeah.
Real brain genius, this Elon Musk guy. Don't like them at all, and if they don't like me, too bad. And then he tripled or quadrupled down.
Whatever number we're on.
Yeah, later on, saying, no one should be credited with anything ever.
Strange take from a strange guy.
He
had the Weeb crowd for so long.
Yeah.
They stuck with him when others had loved him for so long and cast him aside after numerous examples of him not being the best person like us. He still had the anime crowd.
Yeah.
And then
they're easy to win over. You just by coming out as an anime fan, you're making a big risk professionally.
Yeah.
And so that's an easy way to like get people to like you. But didn't he also he stole it was like Neon Cat or some other some weird internet art. It wasn't Neon Cat, but something like that. And he put it in one of the cars, and the artist was like,
"Oh yeah,
hi,
yeah.
that's mine."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was a real weirdo about how to properly credit and compensate him.
No. To be fair, he
pattern.
Didn't he put a bunch of patented stuff out for free? So maybe he can hide behind that.
I don't.
Anyways, it's just more proof that he hasn't changed much, and at the very least, he just wants to fight with people over trivial bullshit, which is and has always been an odd trait for someone like him to have.
Yeah, it just seems like if I had that much money, I would not spend any time on Twitter.
No.
I'd be too busy enjoying myself. Twitter is a sad, angry place. What the fuck are you doing on Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter is a place where people who don't have it all get to complain.
Yeah. Twitter is the mob.
Yeah.
You don't need to, there's no reason for you to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Go live your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do what you want, but I'm just saying, that's how it looks.
Yeah. Anyways, a story was breaking as we were writing this episode, and it's pretty fucking crazy. Apparently, one of the biggest, if not the biggest drug bust ever.
I would think it's the biggest,
and
given these numbers.
Obviously, it happened at our southern border, where all of the biggest...
The place where we need to put that wall, just block it off, and then nothing like this will ever happen, except, it was in fucking Philadelphia.
Yeah, on a boat.
On a boat.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're going to need to build a wall around the whole country, including the oceans. Going to be a lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
GoFundMe.
The real thing to do would be build a wall of oil rigs around the country.
Yeah.
That way we're profiting off of it too. Don't take any of my ideas.
Yeah, it's $1 billion worth
$1 billion?
Coke.
And apparently they think that there's 30 tons more of it on there, which if that's true, it's got to be the biggest drug bust ever.
Incredible.
But
wow. Someone is going to be pissed.
Someone in Philadelphia is very upset. It's going to have a huge fucking party.
Ooh.
And all the plans just got spoiled.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for today's episode. If you want to check out this week's exclusive podcast, if you're a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member, if you're a YouTube member, go to the community tab, look for the latest posts. If you're a Patreon member, go to the posts on our Patreon page, and you'll see a link to our exclusive podcast where you can listen to it there. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff on this week's episode, including Jacob Wall and E3 parties and some other stuff. Otherwise, we're going to have, of course, more episodes this week. News Dump, Weekly Weird News. But if you want to watch our old episodes, boom, right here. We have a Tech News Day episode about Facebook's new cryptocurrency.
Do noi buy.
And episode about pee-pee drinking. So check those out. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.